Okay, we are now live. So, hello and good morning, everybody. This is Holly with Holly Hopkins Jazz, and it's live from the HH Jazz Closet. This is an episode of Closet Conversations. This is episode number 2, and I'm super excited today to have with me drummer extraordinaire, musician, Mr. Rick Cline coming in. He's maybe on the screen on the other side of me, but anyway, Rick, give it
I'm
up for
over
Rick, everybody.
here.
Rick, we're super excited to have you, and we'll see if folks hop on, and if not, that's no problem. This will be available out on Facebook and on YouTube via the Holly Hopkins Jazz channels, and then also via Rick Cline's channels and everything, and his social media outlets. And you can go back and check these references. But I've invited Rick here today to talk about his program. He's got a lot going on. Now, Rick is coming at us from the great town of Hickory, North Carolina, in central North Carolina. And Rick, you've been from Hickory, like you grew up in Hickory. You're from Hickory, right?
I'm a Hickory native. Yep.
Hickory native. And so sometime a long time ago, and maybe that's another closet conversation, because I definitely would love to hear about how you got into music and how you started doing all this. But Rick has developed a really nice musical presence in Hickory and in central North Carolina. So today Rick's going to tell us a little bit about what he's got going on. He has had a long-running jazz series a few years ago, and that ran for 20 years. He'll tell us more about that. But this Sunday, February 26th, starts his new series. It's the first date of his new series. It's a new day, and so we're excited to hear all about that. So, Rick, first off, tell us what's the name of the new series. Tell us more about this Sunday and where it will be held. And for those of you that are watching, I'll be posting that information. And you can also ask us questions, and we'll go from there. Tell us, Rick.
Awesome. Well, this Sunday starts the new Jazz on Tap at the Tasteful of Beans. It's a cute coffee house in downtown Hickory. It is the extension, or the I guess the next chapter of Jazz on Tap. Was the first chapter was from 2000 to 2020 at the Old Hickory Tap Room. We took a 3-year hiatus because of COVID, and now we're starting up at another location. This series is going to be quite a bit different in terms of the frequency. It's just going to be once a month, and it will be a ticketed or admission only kind of event, still open to the public, but it will be more catered to the people that want to come and listen to jazz versus the bar crowd who comes in. Oh, by the way, there's a jazz band. Whether they, enjoy jazz or not, there's a jazz band going on. But no, I'm real excited about this new partnership with the Tasteful Beans, and yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
So that Tasteful Beans, let me put that up on the screen for everybody, because that I looked it up. It's just the cutest little location. So what Rick is talking about is, and that's Tasteful Beans. Rick is in Hickory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right downtown. And so, yeah, I hope that, and let me just go here and I'll show that real quick. So Tasteful Beans, that's where he's talking about. You can go there and look at it. But Rick is, when I was talking to him earlier, his goal is to create this kind of listening environment for people who are interested in jazz specifically. So that's what he's doing at this Tasteful Beans location. So now, Rick, how can people get access to this Sunday's performance? I think you mentioned there's 2 different ways, but I'll let you tell about that.
Well, if you want to take the chance of getting admission at the door, you could do it that way. Doors open at 6. Or if you want to get a pre-admission ticket, I guess you could say, you could do that via Venmo or PayPal. And there it is. Shows up. The Venmo is better, actually. It's $12 admission, and that will get you a guaranteed seat. It's a limited seating, as you could imagine. So I would imagine it will probably be at capacity. I imagine,
Okay.
at least judging by the interest that's been generated so far. But if it's at capacity, we're gonna do our best to get you in there. So
Okay.
don't worry.
All right. So you do have at this point, if people want to go ahead and get a ticket, it's not a problem, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, you can
Okay.
certainly go ahead. It's not sold out yet.
Okay.
But yep, and it's from 6 to 8:30, and there will be 2 sets. If you know what sets are, it's 2 chunks of performance times. There's really good food. They have a long wine list, coffee list, beer, you name it. That's another reason why I chose this Tasteful Beans, because there's a lot more to this tiny little coffee shop than people realize. My wife and I had lunch there just the other day, and you wouldn't believe the lunch menu is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they've got specialty teas, they've got smoothies. So basically you've partnered with a venue that has a lot to offer for a lot of different likes and everything. So if you're just joining us right now, my name is Holly, and I'm with Holly Hopkins Jazz. And I'm here. We're having a closet conversation. This is episode number 2. And we're here in the HH Jazz closet. And I am talking to Mr. Rick Cline, who is teacher, musician, and drummer extraordinaire based in Hickory, North Carolina. And he is talking about his upcoming series I called this a Rick reboot, by the way. So he had a long 20-year running series that was every Sunday night except for 2 nights a year, basically. And took a COVID hiatus, and now this is getting rebooted and revamped, and it's super exciting. Now, Rick, tell me about you. You've also started a jazz society. I noticed that as well. Tell me what that is about and what that website is, so I can share that as well.
Well, it's modeled after the Blowing Rock Jazz Society, also known as, now I think it's called the High Country Jazz Society, where it's an exclusive membership that gets you into all Hickory Jazz Society sponsored, funded events. The Tasteful Beans Jazz on Tap series is one of those. The Hickory Jazz Society is Hickory's new stewards of live jazz. And by that, I mean, we as an organization intend on fostering live music, keeping jazz alive, and more importantly, keeping jazz live, not just promoting live jazz. I also intend on reaching out to high schools, starting a high school jazz festival at some point.
Great.
And that's going to be spearheaded by the Hickory Jazz Society. Membership is growing, and it's only $80 for a year. That's a low price for all that you'll get. You'll get into all 10 Jazz on Tap concerts.
Okay.
Versus $12 admission. So you can do the math on that.
Awesome. That gets you into the Tasteful Beans location. Is that correct, Rick? Okay.
It gets you in, and it also gets you in early before everyone else. So
Awesome.
yeah, so there's some benefits to that, and also the good thing is if you have a membership and you can't make one of those performances, you can transfer your ticket that night to someone else.
Okay.
So you can have someone take your place. So
Okay. But
that's a
now, Rick, that's not all you're doing. Okay.
oh
So
no.
that's a lot, but that's not all you're doing. So it's also my understanding that you are hosting jazz live in downtown Hickory.
Mhm.
And that's also going to be once a month. Tell us about that part and where
Well,
that's going to be, that portion.
there's going to be 8 concerts, 4 in the spring, 4 in the fall. So it's not necessarily once a month, but
Okay.
it will be. Um, I timed it. Those are good times of year to do outside concerts, and there's been a huge demand for jazz in the downtown area. They've redone our downtown,
Yep.
an awesome stage, and there's a lot of people that come downtown for music, for events, things like that. But there's nothing that's held on Sundays. And that is why I'm going to do a jazz concert series. It's called the Jazz on Tap Legacy Concert Series, promoting the legacy of Jazz on Tap
Yeah.
from 2000 to 2020. In that period of time, we had 100 plus different jazz musicians in rotation. So I'm bringing in some of the all stars from those years. And Holly Hopkins is one of those all stars.
Yeah.
So
So, all right. Now, look, I'm going to tell real quick. So, years ago, I'd say about 6 years ago, um, I was really still new-ish on the scene of jazz, and that's how I met Rick. So Rick invited me. He actually talked to a musician that had worked with me, Troy Kahn, and I'm gonna get to Troy here in a second. We got to talk about him, but anyway, so he said, "Hey, tell me about this Holly person." Anyway, that's how I met. I went and I did this show with Rick and Mike Holstein. That's how I first met them. So I am super grateful and honored to be a part of the Legacy reboot. So I'll be on the schedule later this year. So talking about your schedule. So this Sunday at Tasteful Beans, tell me about the musicians that you've lined up. And I also want to know, when is the last time you guys worked together? All right.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So this one, well, before I answer that, I want to go
Yes.
back. I have to say that we met before we got on stage. You were coming to Jazz on Tap as a supporter
Yes, I
of
did.
jazz,
That's true.
and we met that way. So
Yeah.
I think that is important. A bit of
Yeah.
information for people.
That's true.
You got to know the musicians, and you were a little more comfortable
Yeah. And
on
love the
stage.
music. Oh, it
Right.
was great.
But I think that's how we first met. You
Yeah.
were just an
I was a
attendee.
listener.
You
Yeah.
were, and
I'm a fan. Yeah. Yeah.
well, okay. So this Sunday, February 26th,
Yes.
I will have Todd Wright, who is the jazz sax teacher from Appalachian, and he's a celebrity in the high country, I would say.
Awesome.
I'm also having Troy Kahn, guitarist from Charlotte, and Mike Holstein, bass player and guitarist extraordinaire, from Black Mountain. And I will say that Mike is probably my rock when it comes to someone I want to share the stage with.
Yeah.
I feel more comfortable with him than really any other musician making music with. He is a very special kind of artist. He's also in the Holly Hopkins Jazz group, and
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
integral part of that group as well.
Yeah. But now, hey, listen, that is an amazing lineup. Troy Kahn will be on guitar.
Mhm.
And Mike will be on double bass. So, you know, for those of you that follow Holly Hopkins Jazz, Mike is usually on his hybrid guitar, covering both the bass and the guitar lines. But this weekend, you would get to hear him playing, you know, double bass, and he's phenomenal on that instrument. And then Todd Wright, who I have not had the opportunity to listen to, and I'm super excited to hear him. And then, of course, Rick, drummer extraordinaire, will be on his set of drums. Now, but when's the last time you guys have worked together? Because again, this is the fun about jazz and just diving in and, you know, hey, we're going to perform this batch of music. When's the last time you guys performed together?
There's never been a combination of these four musicians.
Wow.
Not to my knowledge. I mean, I don't believe so, but yeah, I'm certain about that. There's never been a time where all four of us have shared the stage. I know that we've done it in groups of three. I know Todd has been with me and Mike before. I've been with Troy, Mike, lots of times at the tap room.
Cool.
But yeah, this is the first time the four of us will be together.
Awesome.
And you know, jazz is one of those things where it doesn't matter if you've played together. It is a canvas every time you get together, and everybody brings their paint.
Yeah.
You know, and we are after, we're all after the same thing, is to make beautiful art together.
Well, so I can't wait to see this and hear this happen this Sunday. Again, for those of you who maybe have just joined us, Rick is here telling us about his reboot of a jazz series that will be in Hickory, North Carolina. For this weekend's show, it'll be at Tasteful Beans in Hickory, North Carolina. And you can send Rick directly. You can send him $12 via Venmo to secure your ticket, or, you know, take your chances, see if you can get a ticket at the door. They'll do everything that they can to help you out and make sure you have access to experience this show, which is going to be phenomenal. And then at the bottom of the screen, you can see the website, and I hope I've got that right, Rick, hickoryjazzsociety.com. You can go there to get a season pass and to learn more about what this group is doing to preserve and reserve and push forward into the future, the love of jazz, especially in the Hickory and Central North Carolina area. So, hey, Rick, thank you so much for being with us today. And I asked if Rick wouldn't mind if I showed one little thing, you know, for you know, now for those of you who follow Holly Hopkins Jazz, you'll know that recently I added a little bit of band merchandise. So here's a jazz listening shirt. If you would like one of these, hey, you know, let me know, and I can mail this to you. For those of you who are in the Lake Norman, North Carolina area, Mike Holstein will be with me tomorrow night performing at Davidson Wine Company. We would love to see you there. Rick, thank you so much for everything that you do to educate young people, to share the love of music, and in particular jazz. Thanks for working with me whenever you can. And hey, we'll bid everybody adieu, and we'll look forward to the next closet conversation. And hey, have a great day, everybody. All right, take care.
Thanks,
Thanks, Rick. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.